Welcome back. You're watching The Money Show. And it is my pleasure to introduce this next segment, which is Travel Thursday. You know, over the past several months, while things have slowly gotten back to normal, we've helped people imagine or dream about the places that they would like to go when things go back to normal finally. I think you can say that we're almost there. And while you still have to take care and you have to take all the necessary precautions, it's not such a bad idea to start going out and maybe making those travel plans. We've got Sharanya Iyer joining in. She's a travel vlogger. And Sharanya, thank you so much for taking the time. It's perhaps one of the most exciting conversations that we do all week because you help us decide on our bucket list. You've selected the Andamans that you want to talk about, and this is one of your favorite places to visit. What stands out about it?
First of all, my pleasure being here, Alex. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm really excited to motivate people to get out there and travel again after the 2 lockdowns. So the Andamans happens to be one of my favorite islands in the world, leave alone in India. And I went there for the first time earlier this year in the end of March for what was supposed to be a 2-week trip. But due to the lockdown and mainland and all of that, I ended up staying there for over a month. And it was obviously one of the most treasured experiences I've ever had, because you know the first thing that hits you when you go there and you see the blue waters and the pristine white sand beaches and just how empty and remote it feels, you know, the first thing that hits you, it's this doesn't feel like India, this feels like Thailand, this feels like Australia. And I think that's the beauty of it, because it makes you love your country even more, because guess what, you get all of this in India. You just have to go out there.
So if there was one place that I would like to be locked down in, I don't think that I could have chosen a better option. So you got lucky there, I must say. But having said that, Sharanya, how do you get there? I understand that you're planning another trip because you loved it so much.
I absolutely am. I didn't imagine I'd go back twice in the same year, but I'm planning to be there next month as well. So how you get there is it's fairly simple now. There are some direct flights, but a lot of connecting flights from most of the big metro cities. So the biggest stops on the way would be either Calcutta or Chennai, because both are on the east coast on the way to the Andaman Islands. And most of the big airlines fly there, be it Air India or Vistara or Indigo. These are the airlines I would recommend you book with, because they land you on time, and then, you know, that then decides your timing for the ferries to go to the other islands and all of that. So yeah, you can fly there very easily. Tickets are not cheap, so I would advise that you plan this a couple of months at least in advance.
Okay, so once you get there, did you have to chalk out your itinerary? What did you look forward to the most? What are the activities that you have to definitely do when you get there?
So I am a certified scuba diver, and obviously that is one of the biggest draws for me personally. But even if you're not someone who wants to get into recreational serious diving, this is the best place to try it out with what is called a Discover Scuba Dive, which is your first initiation into the world underwater. Or you can obviously snorkel, there's kayaking, it's a very rich biodiverse group of islands. So there are mangroves that you can kayak your way through, see phytoplankton or bioluminescence. So there's a lot of water-based activities, and also hikes through the jungles to go to secret beaches and stuff like that. So it's a very nature-friendly vacation, and a lot of beach time and time out in the sun.
Okay, do parents have to be mindful of taking very small kids there? Is that something that they should avoid doing?
Absolutely not. I've seen a bunch of families there when I was there in April as well, because I mean, beach time is something we do even in, say, a Goa or any other beach destination down south in Kerala, for instance, right? So the beaches aren't unfriendly in that sense. They're pretty shallow in the beginning, and it gets deep once you go further out in the boats. So I think it's a great holiday for a child, because the islands are high on sustainability measures, especially the ones that are up and running now, like Havelock Island, Port Blair, Neil, Chidia Tapu. These are all sort of well fixed now with tourism infrastructure. So there's a lot going on. Even for the kids, they can go on nature walks, learn, about the birds that are endemic to the island, about the unique trees, some of which are so ancient and large and gigantic. I think it's a delight to just be out there and learn so much about the environment as well. So I think it's a great place for kids.
Okay, I do want to talk about the staying facilities. Is it costly to book a hotel there? And what would you advise people to do?
I feel like the Andamans, especially the islands like I mentioned, Port Blair, Neil, and Havelock are the 3 islands you would want to go to on your first trip because they're well laid out. There are options for every budget. There is even a hostel on Havelock Island for backpackers. Then you would find some of the, within the 2,500 to 5,000 per night range, which would be something like a Green Imperial Resort or Outback Resorts on Havelock. And then you have something in the mid-range, which would be Barefoot on Havelock, Seashells, Silver Sands. These would be in about the 10 to 15,000 range per night. And then you also have luxury, all-out luxury. There is a Taj on Havelock right by Radhanagar Beach, which is said to be Asia's best beach and also the 7th best beach in the world. So there's Taj, and there's also a boutique luxury resort called Jalakara. So I'd say there's something for every budget. You could go there with a getaway with your girlfriends. You could do it solo. You could do it with your family and, really unwind in some of the luxury resorts. So I'd say there's something for everyone, and you can find these resorts online on some of the most popular portals like booking.com and GoIPbo and stuff like that.
Very quickly, my last question to you, and this is a very quick wrap. What's the food like? Would you have to spend a lot on food?
The food is great. Again, there's a huge network of cafes. There's even pubs with live music. So a lot of the cuisine is a mix of the settlers in the Andaman Islands. So you'll find a lot of Bengali cuisine, even South Indian. There are a lot of settlers from Karnataka, Andhra, Tamil Nadu. So there's a mix of all of that with a lot of the local produce that's really fresh and it's farm to table. So there's a lot of options. Again, there are cafes like Full Moon Cafe, there's Anju Coco, there's the restaurants in the hotels themselves. So you could do a meal for as little as 200 per meal, and you could go out to fine dine as well. So there's a lot to choose from.
Thanks so much, Sharanya, for painting that picture for us. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, and I certainly have put the Andamans on my list of places to visit. Now,
thank you so
that
much
brings
for
us to the end
Alex.
of this edition of The Money Show. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing it to you. Have a lovely long weekend. From all of us here that put the show together, thank you so much for watching. This is ET Now.